The twin-sister alien girls, Scylla and Zara, had just finished their routine scans of the small planet they had been orbiting for the past few days. They were part of a scientific expedition, tasked with mapping out this little explored region of the galaxy. As they reviewed the data, something caught their eye. An anomaly on the planet's surface. "Zara, look at this!" Scylla called out, summoning her sister over to her station. "There appears to be some kind of artificial structure down there. It doesn't match any of the indigenous architecture we've seen so far." Zara studied the readouts carefully. "You're right. This is quite unusual. The materials and design are not native to this planet. We should take a closer look." The sisters quickly plotted a course to investigate the mysterious structure. As their sleek, silver craft glided down through the planet's thin atmosphere, they could make out more details. It appeared to be some kind of landing pad or docking bay, built into the side of a large rocky outcrop. "Fascinating. I wonder who or what could have constructed this," Scylla mused. "There's no evidence of any advanced civilization on this world." "Only one way to find out," Zara replied, skillfully guiding their ship down to a gentle landing near the structure. "Let's take a closer look." The twins powered down their craft and approached the curious sight on foot. As they neared the entrance, they noticed it was partially obscured by overgrowth. Clearly, it hadn't been used in a very long time. Exchanging a curious glance, Scylla and Zara stepped forward and pushed open the heavy metal doors. What greeted them on the other side was beyond their wildest expectations. The cavernous chamber was filled with dozens of large cylindrical containers, and each one contained a humanoid figure, suspended in a state of frozen hibernation. "By the stars," Zara breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. "Scylla, do you know what this means?" "These are humans." Scylla nodded slowly, her mind racing. "Yes, I recognize the basic anatomy from our studies. But what are they doing here, and how did they end up in a place like this?" The sisters moved closer, carefully examining the hibernation pods. Each one contained a fully formed adult human, their features frozen in time. Scylla reached out to gently touch the transparent surface of one of the pods. "They're alive, Zara. Somehow, these humans have been preserved, suspended in a state of cryostasis. But for how long?" Zara's brow furrowed in concentration. "If my calculations are correct, based on the level of decay and overgrowth we saw outside, these humans have been here for centuries, if not millennia. But that doesn't make any sense. Humans are not a spacefaring race, at least not to our knowledge." The twins fell silent, each lost in their own thoughts as they tried to make sense of this extraordinary discovery. What had happened to bring these humans to this remote planet, and how had they ended up in these strange hibernation chambers? The answers would have to wait. For now, Scylla and Zara knew they had stumbled upon a mystery that would change the course of their expedition, and perhaps even the known history of the galaxy. Scylla and Zara spent hours carefully examining the hibernation pods and their unusual contents. The humans inside were unlike anything the alien sisters had ever encountered before. Their delicate features, soft skin, and distinct lack of scales or exoskeleton. It was clear these beings were vastly different from the sentient races that made up the Galactic Council. "I've never seen anything like this," Zara murmured, running her slender fingers along the smooth surface of one of the pods. "How is it possible that these humans have survived for so long?" Scylla shook her head slowly. "I'm not sure, but we need to find out. There must be some explanation for how they ended up here, frozen in time like this." She paused, her brow furrowing in concentration. "Perhaps we should attempt to revive one of them. That might give us some answers." The sisters set to work, carefully scanning the hibernation pods and monitoring the vital signs of the humans within. It was painstaking work, as they had to be extremely cautious not to cause any harm. After several tense hours, they finally managed to kickstart the reanimation sequence of one of the pods. Slowly, ever so slowly, the transparent lid began to retract, and the human inside started to stir. Scylla and Zara watched with bated breath as the being's eyes fluttered open, revealing a striking shade of green. The human blinked several times, disoriented, before finally locking eyes with the two alien sisters. "Whoa, where am I?" the human croaked, their voice raspy from disuse. Scylla and Zara exchanged a glance, unsure of how to proceed. "You are on a planet far from your home," Scylla said gently. "We found you and the others in these hibernation chambers. Can you tell us how you came to be here?" The human's brow furrowed as they struggled to make sense of the situation. I'm not sure. The last thing I remember is the evacuation, the ships leaving Earth." Their eyes suddenly went wide with panic. "Oh God, what happened to Earth? Where is everyone?" Zora placed a comforting hand on the human's shoulder. "Calm yourself. We do not have all the answers yet, but we will do our best to help you. Can you tell us your name?" "My name is Aiden," the human replied, their voice trembling slightly. "And if I'm here, and the others are too, then that can only mean one thing." Aiden's gaze hardened with a dawning realization. Earth must have been destroyed. Scylla and Zara exchanged another troubled look. "That is deeply concerning," Scylla said slowly. "We had no knowledge of any such event. The Galactic Council has maintained peace and order throughout known space for millennia." Aiden shook their head, a spark of defiance in their eyes. "The Galactic Council? I've never heard of such a thing. All I know is that Earth was attacked, and we were the last survivors. We were supposed to be in cryogenic stasis until we could be rescued and relocated." Their expression darkened. "But it's been too long, hasn't it? Everyone I knew, everyone I loved, they're gone." Zara reached out to gently squeeze Aiden's hand. "I'm so sorry. This must be a terrible shock for you. But please, try to remain calm. We will do everything in our power to help you and the other humans. You are not alone." Aiden nodded, taking a deep, steadying breath. Okay, I understand. I need to process all of this." They glanced around the cavernous chamber, taking in the sight of the other hibernation pods. "How many of us are there?" "Dozens, perhaps even hundreds," Scylla replied. "We haven't had the chance to fully survey the entire facility yet, but we will begin the process of reviving the others, so that we can all work together to determine what happened and what the future holds." Aiden's expression hardened with determination. "Then let's get started. I need to know the truth, no matter how painful it may be." Scylla and Zara nodded in agreement. They knew that the road ahead would be long and difficult, both for the humans and for themselves. But they were committed to uncovering the truth and helping these lost souls, even if it meant challenging the very foundations of the Galactic Council they had served for so long. With a renewed sense of purpose, the sisters set to work, carefully reanimating one hibernation pod after another, each time bracing themselves for the reactions of the newly awakened humans. The mystery of their origins and the fate of their homeworld was about to be unraveled, and Scylla and Zara were determined to see it through, no matter what they might discover. As Scylla and Zara methodically revived one human after another, the cavernous chamber slowly came alive with the sounds of disoriented voices and bewildered questions. The sisters did their best to calm the newly awakened humans, explaining the situation as clearly and gently as they could. "You've been in cryogenic hibernation for a very long time," Scylla said, addressing a small group of the revived humans. "Hundreds, perhaps even thousands of years have passed since you were put into these chambers." The humans stared at her, their expressions a mix of shock and horror. "Thousands of years." One of them, a woman with short dark hair, gasped. "But that's impossible. The last thing I remember is the evacuation ships leaving Earth. We were supposed to be rescued." Zora placed a reassuring hand on the woman's arm. "I know this is all very overwhelming, but you must try to remain calm. We are here to help you, to try and piece together what happened." "What happened?" Another human, a man with graying hair, interjected angrily. "Isn't it obvious? Earth was destroyed, and we were abandoned. All our loved ones, our homes, our entire civilization, gone. He turned to the other humans, his voice rising in anguish. We're the only ones left, the last survivors of humanity. The chamber erupted into a cacophony of distressed cries and panicked questions as the humans grappled with the devastating realization. Scylla and Zara exchanged a troubled glance, unsure of how to calm the growing sense of despair. Finally, Zara raised her hands, her voice firm but sympathetic. Please, try to listen. We know this is an unimaginable tragedy, but we believe there may be a way to uncover the truth and perhaps even find a path forward. The humans gradually fell silent, their gazes fixed on the alien sisters with a mixture of fear and hope. As we already told you, you have been in cryogenic stasis for an extremely long time, Zora continued. During that period, the galaxy has undergone significant changes. There is now a governing body known as the Galactic Council, which has maintained peace and order throughout known space. Scylla stepped forward, her expression grave. However, we have no knowledge of any event that could have led to the destruction of your homeworld, Earth. This is deeply concerning, and we believe it is imperative that we work together to uncover the truth. The humans looked at one another, their faces etched with a mixture of disbelief and trepidation. So what are you saying? The dark-haired woman asked cautiously. That we're the last of our kind, stranded on some alien world, with no idea what happened to our home. Zara nodded solemnly. I'm afraid that is a distinct possibility, but we are committed to doing everything in our power to help you, to find out what happened, and, if possible, to help you rebuild a future. The humans fell silent, their expressions a mix of sorrow, fear, and a glimmer of fragile hope. Scylla and Zara knew that the road ahead would be long and arduous, both for the humans and for themselves. They had to tread carefully, for the revelations they might uncover could have far-reaching consequences for the delicate balance of power in the Galactic Council. What do we do now? A younger human, a man with piercing blue eyes, asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Scylla and Zara exchanged a resolute glance. We work together, Scylla replied, her tone firm and determined. We will start by gathering as much information as we can from the hibernation chambers, and then we will take you back to our home world, where we can access the full resources of the Galactic Council. The human nodded slowly, some of the tension leaving his shoulders. Okay, he said, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. Let's do it. One by one, the other humans voiced their agreement, their initial fear and despair giving way to a newfound sense of purpose. Scylla and Zara knew that the journey ahead would be fraught with challenges, both emotional and practical, but they were resolved to do everything in their power to help these lost souls reclaim their place in the galaxy. As the group began to organize themselves and prepare for their departure, the sisters couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. The mystery of Earth's destruction and the fate of humanity weighed heavily on their minds, and they knew that the answers they sought could shake the very foundations of the Galactic Council they had sworn to serve. After carefully reviving and stabilizing the last of the hibernating humans, Scylla and Zara turned their attention to the task of preparing them for the journey ahead. The sisters knew that the humans would be overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the changes that had occurred in the galaxy during their long slumber, and they wanted to do everything in their power to ease the transition. All right, everyone, Scylla announced, addressing the gathered group of humans. We've completed the reanimation process, and you all seem to be in good health. Now, we need to discuss the next steps. The humans looked up at her with a mix of apprehension and curiosity. Aiden, the first human they had revived, stepped forward, his expression tense. What happens now? He asked, his voice betraying a hint of fear. Where are you taking us? Zara moved to stand beside her sister, her gaze warm and reassuring. We are going to take you back to our home world, where we can access the resources and knowledge of the Galactic Council. There, we will work together to try and uncover the truth about what happened to your planet, Earth. A murmur of uncertainty rippled through the group, and Xyla raised a hand to quiet them. I know this is all incredibly overwhelming, she said, her tone gentle. But we want you to know that you are not alone. We will do everything in our power to help you, to support you, and to give you a chance to rebuild your lives. Aiden nodded slowly, his brow furrowed in thought. So this Galactic Council, they have the answers we're looking for. We believe so, Zara replied. They have maintained peace and order throughout known space for centuries. If anyone has information about the fate of your homeworld, it would be them. The humans exchanged cautious glances, weighing the sisters' words. Finally, the dark-haired woman from earlier stepped forward, her expression resolute. All right then. Let's do it. I'm ready to face whatever comes next, if it means we can find out what happened to Earth. One by one, the other humans voiced their agreement, their initial fear and uncertainty giving way to a newfound determination. Thyla and Zara couldn't help but be impressed by the resilience and strength of these beings, who had endured such a profound loss, and yet still clung to the hope of finding answers. Very well, Thyla said, a small smile tugging at the corner of her lips. Let's get you all settled aboard our ship, and we'll be on our way. As the humans gathered their meager belongings and followed the sisters out of the hibernation chamber, Aiden fell into step beside Xyla, his expression troubled. Tell me, he said, his voice low, do you really think the Galactic Council will have the answers we're looking for? What if they're the ones responsible for what happened to Earth? Xyla paused, considering the weight of his words. I cannot say for certain, she admitted. The Galactic Council has maintained a delicate balance of power for centuries, and they have never been known to engage in such acts of destruction. But I cannot ignore the possibility that something more sinister may have occurred. Aiden nodded, his gaze hardening. Then we'll have to be prepared for anything. If the Galactic Council is hiding the truth about what happened to Earth, we'll find out, no matter what it takes. Xyla placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. I understand your concern, Aiden. But for now, let us focus on getting you and the others to safety. The answers will come in time, I promise. Aiden held her gaze for a moment, then nodded reluctantly. All right, lead the way. As the group made their way to the sisters' sleek silver spacecraft, Thyla couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. The implications of their discovery were far-reaching, and she knew that the journey ahead would be fraught with challenges. But she was determined to see it through, for the sake of these lost humans, and the future of the galaxy itself. With a deep breath, she ushered the humans aboard, her mind racing with the possibilities that lay ahead. Whatever they uncovered, she knew that it would change the course of history, forever. The journey back to Xyla and Zara's homeworld was a tense and uncomfortable one for the group of reawakened humans. As their sleek, silver spacecraft glided smoothly through the vastness of space, the humans pressed their faces against the viewports, gazing out in awe and trepidation at the unfamiliar stars and celestial bodies that dotted the inky black expanse. Aiden, in particular, felt a growing sense of unease as he took in the alien sights. He had spent the majority of his life on the familiar blue-green orb of Earth, and the thought of being so far from his home, surrounded by strange and unknown environments, was deeply unsettling. This is all just so bizarre, he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. I can't even begin to wrap my head around the fact that hundreds, if not thousands, of years have passed since we were put into those cryo chambers. Zara, who had been monitoring the ship's systems, turned to face him, her expression sympathetic. I understand how disorienting this must be for you, Aiden. But please, try to have faith. We are doing everything we can to ensure your safe return and to uncover the truth about what happened to your homeworld. Aiden nodded, though his brow remained furrowed with worry. I appreciate that, truly. It's just, everything I've ever known is gone. My family, my friends, my entire life. All of it, wiped away. How can I possibly move forward from this? Scylla, who had been piloting the craft, glanced over her shoulder, her gaze soft and understanding. I cannot begin to imagine the weight of your loss, Aiden, but you are not alone in this. We will be by your side, every step of the way, as you navigate this new and unfamiliar world. The other humans, having overheard the exchange, began to murmur their own concerns and fears. It was clear that the magnitude of their situation was starting to truly sink in, and the sisters knew they had to tread carefully to avoid further distress. Zora moved to address the group, her voice calm and reassuring. My fellow travelers, I know that the path ahead is uncertain, and the road you have already traveled has been a long and arduous one. But I promise you, we will do everything in our power to help you find the answers you seek. She paused, her gaze sweeping over the group of anxious faces. When we arrive at our homeworld, you will be welcomed with open arms. There, you will have access to the resources and knowledge of the Galactic Council, and together, we will work to uncover the truth about what happened to your planet, Earth. The humans exchanged apprehensive glances, their expressions a mix of hope and trepidation. Finally, the dark-haired woman from earlier, the one Tyla and Zora had come to know as Ava, stepped forward. And what if the Galactic Council is somehow responsible for what happened to Earth? She asked, her voice laced with a hint of accusation. What then? Tyla took a deep breath, her features set in a resolute expression. Then we will uncover that truth, no matter the cost. I give you my word that we will not rest until we have the answers you deserve. Ava held Scylla's gaze for a long moment, her brow furrowed in contemplation. Finally, she nodded, some of the tension leaving her shoulders. All right, I'll hold you to that. As the spacecraft continued its smooth journey through the cosmos, the humans fell into a tense silence, each lost in their own thoughts and fears. Tyla and Zara exchanged a worried glance, aware of the gravity of the situation they had stumbled upon. They knew that the answers they sought could have far-reaching consequences, not just for the humans, but for the very fabric of the Galactic Council itself. And as they drew closer to their homeworld, the sisters couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease, an ominous foreboding that the truth they uncovered might shake the foundations of the galaxy to its core. But they were determined to see this through, no matter the cost. For the sake of these lost souls, and for the future of all sentient beings, they would uncover the truth, no matter how painful it might be. As Styla's spacecraft glided through the shimmering expanse of space, the small group of reawakened humans pressed their faces against the viewports, their eyes wide with wonder and trepidation. The alien landscape that stretched out before them was like nothing they had ever witnessed, a dazzling tapestry of vibrant colors and strange celestial formations. Ava, the dark-haired woman who had voiced her concerns about the Galactic Council, couldn't help but feel a sense of unease as she took in the unfamiliar sights. This is also alien, she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. I can't even begin to imagine what kind of world we're about to set foot on. Beside her, Aiden nodded, his expression a mix of awe and apprehension. I know what you mean. It's like we've been transported to another dimension entirely. He paused, his brow furrowing with a troubled thought. Do you really think the Galactic Council will have the answers we're looking for? After all, they're the ones who claim to have maintained order in the galaxy for centuries. Ava placed a comforting hand on his shoulder, her gaze resolute. I don't know, Aiden, but we have to at least try. If there's even a chance that they can help us uncover the truth about what happened to Earth, then we have to take it. Zyla, who had been monitoring the ship's instruments, turned to face the group, her expression calm and reassuring. We're nearing our destination, she announced. Once we've landed, we'll escort you all to the Galactic Council's central hub, where you'll have the opportunity to speak with our leaders and access their vast resources. The humans exchanged nervous glances, but there was a newfound determination in their eyes. They had come this far, and they weren't about to turn back now. As the spacecraft touched down on the sleek, gleaming landing pad, The sisters ushered the humans out, guiding them through the bustling spaceport and into the heart of the Galactic Council's sprawling complex. The towering futuristic buildings and the strange, alien beings that bustled about only served to heighten the humans' sense of bewilderment and unease. Zara, sensing their discomfort, placed a gentle hand on Ava's arm. "I know this must all be overwhelming," she said, her voice soft and reassuring. "But try to remember that we are here to help you, to guide you through this transition. The Galactic Council is committed to ensuring your safety and well-being." Ava nodded, though the tightness in her expression betrayed her lingering doubts. "I appreciate that, Zara. But until we see what the Galactic Council has to say about Earth's destruction, I'm afraid I can't fully trust them." Zyla, who had been leading the group, turned to face the humans, her gaze unwavering. "I understand your skepticism, Ava, but I can assure you that the Galactic Council is committed to upholding justice and maintaining peace throughout the known galaxy. If there is any information to be found about the fate of your homeworld, they will have it." The humans fell silent, their expressions a mix of hope and trepidation as they followed the sisters through the winding corridors of the Galactic Council's headquarters. Finally, they reached a grand, imposing chamber where a group of alien leaders, each representing a different race, sat in solemn council. As the humans were ushered into the chamber, the council members turned their attention to the newcomers, their expressions a study in curiosity and concern. "Welcome, humans." A tall, elegant being with silvery skin and piercing eyes spoke, her voice rich and commanding. "We have been made aware of your extraordinary circumstances, and we are here to assist you in any way we can." Ava stepped forward, her chin raised defiantly. "Then tell us what happened to Earth. What did the Galactic Council know, and why did you allow our planet to be destroyed?" The council members exchanged uneasy glances, and the air in the chamber suddenly grew thick with tension. Styla and Zara watched anxiously, their hearts pounding, as the fate of the humans, and perhaps the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. The chamber fell silent as the council members exchanged uneasy glances, the weight of Ava's accusation hanging heavy in the air. Styla and Zara stood beside the group of humans, their expressions tense, as they waited with bated breath for the council's response. Finally, the elegant being who had greeted them, her silvery skin shimmering under the chamber's soft lighting, spoke up, her voice measured and calm. "I understand your concerns, human," she said, her gaze settling on Ava. "The Galactic Council has always strived to maintain peace and order throughout the known galaxy. However, we were not made aware of the events that led to the destruction of your homeworld, Earth." Ava's eyes narrowed, her expression skeptical. "You expect us to believe that? How could the mighty Galactic Council, with all its resources and influence, have been unaware of such a cataclysmic event?" The council member raised a placating hand. "I assure you, we are just as perplexed by this turn of events as you are. The records we have access to do not contain any information regarding the fate of your planet or your species." Aiden stepped forward, his brow furrowed in confusion. "But that doesn't make any sense. If you had no knowledge of what happened to Earth, how did we end up here, in cryostasis, on a remote planet?" Styla cleared her throat, drawing the attention of the room. "If I may, honored council members, we discovered the hibernation chambers containing the humans during a routine survey of the planet. It was a completely unexpected find, and we are just as eager to uncover the truth as our human companions." The council members exchanged a series of silent, weighted glances, a silent conversation passing between them. Finally, the silvery-skinned being spoke again, her tone grave. "It seems we have a mystery on our hands, one that requires our full attention. We will task our brightest minds with investigating this matter, and we will share any information we uncover with you, the human survivors." Ava opened her mouth to protest, but Aiden placed a gentle hand on her arm, silencing her. "Thank you," he said, his voice firm. "We appreciate your willingness to help us. Truly, we have nowhere else to turn." The council member nodded, a hint of compassion in her expression. "We understand the gravity of your situation, and we will do everything in our power to assist you. In the meantime, we invite you to make yourselves at home here, within the Galactic Council's facilities. You will be provided with all the resources and support you require." Isla and Zura exchanged a relieved glance, their earlier unease gradually ebbing away. The Council's response, while not entirely satisfactory, was at least a step in the right direction. As the humans were escorted out of the chamber by the sisters, Ava turned to Xyla, her gaze intense. "Do you really believe them?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper, that they had no idea what happened to Earth. Xyla hesitated, considering her response carefully. "I'll be honest, Ava. I'm not entirely sure what to believe. The Galactic Council has always been known for its transparency and integrity, but the fact that they have no record of Earth's destruction is deeply troubling." Zara stepped in, placing a comforting hand on Ava's shoulder. "We understand your skepticism, and we share your desire to uncover the truth. But for now, we must have faith in the Council's willingness to assist us. They have the resources and the influence to help us find the answers we seek." Ava nodded, her expression softening slightly. "I suppose you're right. We don't have much choice but to trust them, at least for the time being." The group fell silent as they were led through the winding corridors of the Galactic Council's headquarters, each lost in their own thoughts and fears. Xyla and Zara walked beside them, their minds racing with the implications of this mystery. If the Galactic Council truly had no knowledge of Earth's destruction, then what could have happened? And if they were somehow complicit in the planet's demise, the consequences could be catastrophic, not just for the humans, but for the entire galactic community. As they approached the residential quarters where the humans would be staying, Xyla felt a spark of determination ignite within her. Whatever the truth may be, she and Zara were committed to uncovering it, no matter the cost. The fate of the humans, and perhaps the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. In the days that followed, the human survivors immersed themselves in the unfamiliar yet captivating world of the Galactic Council. Guided by Xyla and Zara, they explored the vast, gleaming facilities, marveling at the advanced technology and the diverse array of alien species that bustled about. Ava, initially wary and distrustful, gradually found herself becoming intrigued by the inner workings of the Galactic Council. She spent countless hours in the library, poring over the Council's historical records and databases, searching for any clues that might shed light on the fate of Earth. Aiden, on the other hand, seemed more inclined to focus on the practical aspects of their situation. He joined a team of technicians, working tirelessly to familiarize himself with the Council's systems and to understand the full extent of their capabilities. "If the Galactic Council truly wants to help us," he told Xyla one day, "then we need to make sure we can leverage their resources to the fullest extent." Xyla nodded, impressed by the human's pragmatic approach. "I admire your determination, Aiden. Rest assured, the Council is committed to assisting you in any way they can." As the days turned into weeks, the humans began to form tentative connections with the various alien species that made up the Galactic Council. They shared their stories, their hopes and fears, and in turn learned about the diverse cultures and histories of their newfound companions. Zara, in particular, found herself drawn to the humans' resilience and their unwavering spirit. She spent countless hours in conversation with them, listening intently as they described the world they had once known, the bonds they had forged with family and friends. "It's remarkable," she confided to Xyla one evening, as they walked through the Council's serene gardens. "Despite the unimaginable loss they have suffered, these humans refuse to give in to despair. They are determined to find a way forward, to reclaim their place in the galaxy." Xyla hummed in agreement, her expression pensive. "Yes, and it is our duty to ensure that they succeed. The fate of the humans, and perhaps the entire Galactic Council, may rest on our ability to uncover the truth about what happened to Earth." As the investigation into the mystery of Earth's destruction continued, the humans and the council members worked together tirelessly, pooling their resources and expertise in the hopes of finding a breakthrough. Ava, in particular, proved to be an invaluable asset, her sharp mind and relentless determination driving the inquiry forward. One day, after a particularly fruitful session in the council's archives, Ava burst into the living quarters, her eyes shining with excitement. "I think I've found something," she exclaimed, drawing the attention of the other humans. "There's a record of a classified Galactic Council operation that took place approximately 800,000 years ago, around the same time that Earth was destroyed." Thyla and Zara exchanged a startled glance, their hearts racing. "What did you find, Ava?" Zara asked, her voice taut with anticipation. According to the records, the Galactic Council had been monitoring a potential threat to the stability of the galaxy, Ava explained, her words tumbling out in a rush. They believed that the humans on Earth were on the verge of developing advanced technology that could disrupt the delicate balance of power. The humans stared at her, their expressions a mix of shock and disbelief. Aiden stepped forward, his brow furrowed in anger. "So, what?" "The Galactic Council decided to destroy our planet, to wipe out an entire civilization, just because they were afraid of what we might become." Ava nodded grimly. "It appears that way. The records indicate that the Council authorized a preemptive strike, a targeted attack that would eliminate the threat posed by Earth and its inhabitants." The chamber erupted into a cacophony of outraged cries and desperate questions as the humans grappled with the devastating revelation. Hyla and Zara stood, rooted to the spot, their faces etched with a mix of horror and disbelief. This can't be true," Zara murmured, her voice trembling. "The Galactic Council has always been a bastion of peace and justice. How could they have done this?" Scylla placed a reassuring hand on her sister's arm, her expression resolute. "We must get to the bottom of this, Zora. The fate of the humans, and perhaps the entire galaxy, hangs in the balance." Turning to the distraught group, Scylla addressed them with a sense of purpose. "My friends, I know this news is devastating, but we cannot give in to despair. We must use this information to uncover the full truth and to find a way to hold the Galactic Council accountable for their actions." The humans fell silent, their gazes filled with a mixture of hope and determination. Ava stepped forward, her eyes shining with a newfound sense of purpose. "Then let's get to work," she said, her voice unwavering. "We owe it to our lost homeworld, and to all those who perished, to ensure that the Galactic Council is held responsible for its crimes." As the group began to plan their next steps, Scylla and Zara exchanged a resolute glance. Whatever the outcome, they were committed to standing by the humans, to helping them reclaim their rightful place in the galaxy. The fate of the Galactic Council, and perhaps the entire cosmos, now rested on the shoulders of these resilient, indomitable souls. The revelation that the Galactic Council had orchestrated the destruction of Earth sent shockwaves through the human survivors and their alien allies. Ava, Aiden, and the others were reeling, their sense of betrayal and outrage palpable as they grappled with the weight of this shattering truth. Scylla and Zara, too, were deeply unsettled by the discovery. The Galactic Council, an organization they had long revered for its commitment to peace and justice, had committed a heinous act of genocide against an entire civilization. The implications were staggering, and the sisters knew that the consequences of this revelation could shatter the very foundations of the galactic order. But even in the face of such devastating news, the humans refused to succumb to despair. Fueled by a renewed sense of purpose, they worked tirelessly alongside Tyla and Zara, scouring the Galactic Council's extensive archives and databases for any additional information that could help them uncover the full truth. "We can't let them get away with this," Ava declared, her eyes burning with determination. "The Galactic Council may have the power and the resources, but we have something even more powerful: the will to see justice done." Aiden nodded in agreement, his expression grim. Ava's right. We may be the last survivors of our kind, but we owe it to our people, to our entire planet, to hold the Council accountable for their actions. As the investigation progressed, the group uncovered more and more damning evidence, piecing together a harrowing narrative of the Galactic Council's systematic efforts to suppress and eliminate the human race. The Council's fear of humanity's potential technological advancements had driven them to take drastic, unthinkable measures, sacrificing an entire civilization in the name of maintaining their own power and influence. Scylla and Zara were horrified by what they learned, their faith in the Galactic Council's integrity shaken to the core. Yet they remained steadfast in their commitment to supporting the humans, recognizing that their fate was now irrevocably intertwined. "We will see this through, no matter the cost," Scylla vowed, her voice unwavering. "The Galactic Council will be held accountable for their actions, and you, the human survivors, will reclaim your rightful place in the galaxy." Zora placed a reassuring hand on Scylla's shoulder, her expression equally resolute. "Yes, and we will stand by you every step of the way. Together, we will rebuild, we will reclaim, and we will create a future where such atrocities can never happen again." The humans, bolstered by the sisters' unwavering support, redoubled their efforts, driven by a shared vision of a better, more just galaxy. They pored over the Council's military and strategic records, uncovering the intricate web of lies and deception that had been woven to conceal their crimes. As the investigation reached its climax, the group presented their findings to the Galactic Council, their voices ringing with righteous fury. The Council members, once the epitome of authority and power, now found themselves grappling with the weight of their actions, their carefully constructed facade of benevolence crumbling before the unyielding determination of the human survivors and their alien allies. In the days and weeks that followed, the Galactic Council was forced to confront the harsh realities of its past, forced to reckon with the devastation it had wrought upon the human race. Reforms were enacted, policies were rewritten, and a new era of transparency and accountability began to take shape. Scylla, Zara, Ava, Aiden, and the rest of the human survivors stood at the forefront of this momentous change, their voices echoing through the halls of the Council's headquarters, demanding a future where the sanctity of all sentient life would be fiercely protected. And as the dust settled, the humans, no longer merely survivors but empowered agents of change, began to reclaim their rightful place in the galaxy. With the support of their newfound allies, they set out to rebuild their civilization, to create a new home that would honor the memory of EartH and all those who had been lost. Scylla and Zara, their own perspectives irrevocably altered by the events that had unfolded, stood beside the humans, their hearts swelling with pride and a renewed sense of purpose. Together, they would forge a path forward, one that would ensure that the atrocities of the past would never be repeated, and that the galaxy would be forever changed, forged in the crucible of this momentous struggle. In the end, the human survivors, once thought to be the last of their kind, had emerged as the catalysts for a new era of hope and redemption, their strength and resilience serving as an inspiration to all who witnessed their remarkable journey.